Brilliant. Okay, so welcome to the Gloji's exercise support 12-week netball weight management program introduction session. Thank you for coming along. My name's Jack Bennett. I am the service lead for the Tier 2 weight management provision on the island and in Hampshire. And this is my colleague Mel Bryant. Over to you, Mel.
Yeah, hi, lovely to meet you all. My name's Mel. So I'm the Partnership and Engagement Officer for Hampshire. And you'll meet me in person on Monday. So I'll be there with you for your first session. So really looking forward to meeting you all.
Perfect. So we'll just run through a few slides to give you a bit of an overview about the program, sort of what to expect, and all of the digital resources that you will have available. I'm really glad that we've sort of got this program running. As you know, via our emails, we had a little bit of anxiety as to whether we could find a location, but we got there in the end. So that's really good news. Right. So what is the program? So the program is it's a two-pronged approach to weight loss, incorporating 12 weeks of physical activity. That is via netball sessions, combined with a holistic digital weight loss program. So that's the Gloji weight loss product, which you will all have access to. I believe my colleague Laura has been creating your accounts today, so you likely most of you will have emails waiting in your inbox, and we'll show you what they look like a little bit later in this presentation. If you can't find them, it's probably because they've been sent. Probably because your emails filtered them into your junk folder. So if you're struggling to have a look, then do search Gloji in all of your folders, because sometimes they get filtered straight into the junk folder. And you might need to dig it out of that folder instead. So in terms of the program itself, that will look a bit like, in terms of the expectations on the night, Mel's going to run through a little bit about what the sessions that will look like when you turn up on Monday.
Yeah, okay. So on Monday, so I'll be meeting you all at the venue. So we're going to be in the sports hall. So if you can make your way to the sports hall, I'll be there with the health and wellbeing coach. Her name is Claire. She's lovely. And she'll be there to greet you as well. So what we'll do when you come in, I'll explain everything about how it all works as well. So if you don't remember everything from today, please don't worry. I'll go through everything with you at the time. We'll do weigh-ins. They're very discreet, so please don't worry. And we weigh in kilograms on the night, which I always think is quite lovely because it means absolutely nothing to me. It's just a number. So if you're the same, then we're all good. So the games is 28 minutes of game time, and that sounds quite a lot. It's broken down into 4 sections of 6 minutes, so a good chance for a break. And obviously, you can swap out with other players if you're wanting to. And we've got our netball umpire Gemma, who's going to be in attendance as well. There's no expectations at all. So this is open to everyone of absolutely any level, any ability. Okay, and we will work with you to improve whatever ability you've got. It's purely there to have a bit of exercise and to have a bit of fun, really. So we're not expecting you to have any previous experience, but then again, you might be somebody who attends netball regularly. So fantastic if you are. But yeah, it is a weight loss program. So we weigh before we play, and then we're just going to have a bit of fun, and you'll get to know each other. It'll be the same group throughout the 12-week program with the same coach. So it's all going to be a really nice session. I'm going to go on to the next slide, Jack. Okay, so talking about what to wear, it's up to you really, but we want you to feel comfortable, but also there's a level of safety there as well. So if you can wear something along the lines of shorts, especially if it's weather like we've got at the moment, leggings, jogging suits, t-shirts, gym wear, anything along those lines is absolutely perfect. What I would say is it is in a sports hall, so trainers or gym shoes are a must. We don't want you sliding and injuring yourself. One of the other things to mention is the umpire did suggest that if possible, if we can have shorter nails just to prevent any injuries when we're kind of going for the ball, that would be amazing. And really importantly, bring a drink with you, okay? Because especially when it's hot weather like this, It's really important to keep the hydration up. So bring a drink along, and that's really all you need. Everything else is going to be there for you. We've got bibs, so you don't need to wear tops of certain colours, and we've got all the balls and everything ready to go. So everything will be there. It's just a case of turn up and have fun, okay? Thank you, Jack.
Brilliant. Okay, excellent. And just to sort of reiterate, as I'm sure you're all aware because you would have seen the emails in order to be in this meeting, but the venue has changed. It was originally Ride Academy and now it's at Ride School, which is just round the corner from the original venue. And it's the same time and same day of the week that you originally signed up to. So hopefully you can all make it. Right, so I'll just run through a little bit about the digital program side of things. So Mel's discussed the netball sessions themselves, but that's going to be great, and it's going to be a really sort of sociable and fun way to get in a bit more physical activity. But if we're looking at sort of improving our lifestyles and improving our health, realistically, half an hour of exercise every week probably isn't enough to make the change. We do need to look at sort of a more holistic approach to our daily habits, essentially. So that's where the Gloji weight management program, the digital product, comes in. So you will have an email, this image on the right hand side of your screen, this where it says, "Hey Mark, it's time to create your Gloji account. We're ready and waiting to help you start your journey to a healthy lifestyle with 12 weeks of supportive videos, tempting and tasty recipes, and loads of articles full of tips and tricks. What are you waiting for? Push the button to begin." So you'll have an email that looks exactly like that, except it probably won't say Mark. You just need to hit that big green create my account button, and then it will take you through to the Gloji website where you can create your password, and then your account will be completed. So what I would ask is that if you could do that before the session, so complete your account, log in to your account and watch the intro video. So that's the first video. It's only a couple minutes long, just explaining a little bit about the program, and then you can access all of the content on the digital product. The reason that would be useful to have done that before the first session is because what we would like for everyone to do is to log their weights into the program sort of at the session. As Mel mentioned, the weighing is going to be sort of before we play, completely, we'll make it as private as possible as we can, totally discreet, but it would be useful for your benefit and for ours if we can have the weights logged into the product on a weekly basis. So what does it look like? Let's have a little look. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, get up the website, and then show you some of the digital resources that you should now have access to. Too many tabs open. Okay, I'll share my screen again. Here we go. So this is my Gloji account. Yours will look exactly the same. This is the home page. It's a 12-step sort of video program. So the videos you'll have access, if we look at my path, that's probably the easiest way to explain it. So I'm currently on step 3, and then I just hit that big green button and it takes me through to step 3. And these are the videos that are on part 1 of step 3. The videos are quite short and sharp. They're between sort of 30 seconds and I think the longest one's around 5 minutes. So they shouldn't take up too much time. Once you've completed, all the videos within one part, in order to get to the next part, just click this link here, part 2, and then that will take you through to the part 2 videos. These are locked for me currently because I haven't completed the part 1 videos. So once you've watched all of those, click part 2, and then these will be unlocked. These are the steps, the titles of the steps that will open on a 7-day basis. So when you create your account, you'll get that intro video. You'll have access to step 1, kickstart your journey, start with why. The why one questions are really quite a pertinent series of videos. It's essentially encouraging everyone to do a bit of self-reflection really, and try try and establish what your intrinsic motivation is for change. So it's 12 weeks is quite a long time. There's going to be setbacks that occur within a 12-week period. There's going to be temptations, and not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but there's going to be struggles that happen over a 12-week period, and having a really clear and defined picture as to why we're going onto this journey, why we signed up in the first place, why we're doing all of this. What is our intrinsic motivation? Having a clearly defined picture of that in our minds can really help with that consistency. And ultimately, whenever we're trying to achieve anything that's particularly difficult and takes a long period of time, or a relatively long period of time, consistency is the thing that matters. So that's really important one. But the as I sort of touched on before, the program is very holistic. So it takes a really sort of a bird's eye view of weight management. It's not, what it isn't is very prescriptive. So this might differ from your experience on possibly on weight management programs before. Some of them can be very prescriptive, and sort of you're going on this diet, you can't eat any of this, you can't eat any of that, you must only eat this. And those kind of diets, they can be effective at losing weight. The problem is that we don't really learn anything, and they're not particularly sustainable. So we've all had that experience of, we sort of go on a diet. The inevitable implication of being on a diet is that at some point in time you're going to come off the diet, and then we tend to revert back to our old habits, and the inevitable consequence of that is that we put the weight back on that we lost. And sometimes we gain a little bit of extra weight as well, because particularly with crash diets, they can sort of negatively impact our metabolism, and therefore we sort of end up gaining more weight than we even started with. So that's the sort of the diet cycle, that diet mentality that we're really trying to move away from with the Gloji program. We're trying to look at a much more sustainable and healthy way of managing our weight and managing our health. What we're looking for is to essentially introduce habits that we can use on our sort of a daily basis, and integrate into our lives, that don't take too much thinking, really. So we're not trying to change everything all at once. We're trying to build 1 or 2 or 3 new habits per week into our routine. And on their own, they're not going to make a massive amount of difference. But if you put in 3 new habits into your routine that you can consistently stay with, and you do that every week for 12 weeks, you'll have introduced 36 new habits into your daily routine. And that certainly is enough to make a big difference to what our daily habits look like. So that's step 3. That's the habit hack. So this will give you lots of information about that. And ultimately, it is our daily habits which determine our lifestyle, whether that be positive or negative. So this is sort of a really important concept to try and get to grips with. So these videos would be really useful. And again, there's part 1 and part 2. There's 2 parts to every step. And the steps, as I sort of mentioned a little bit earlier, they will unlock on a 7-day basis. So if your account started today and you open it and create your password and start that today, in 7 days time, you'll have access to step 2. 14 days time, you'll have access to step 3, and so on and so forth for the 12 weeks. So there's obviously content about diet. There is content about joy of movement. There's loads and loads of good evidence about the benefits of exercise, not only in terms of weight management, but particularly in terms of our mental well-being. Loads of sort of studies have been done in the past decade or so, which have showed quite consistent reductions in the risk of depression and improvements in anxiety through regular exercise, particularly when there's a sociable element to exercise. So this netball sort of touches on all of those things. So that's really, really positive. There's stuff about emotional well-being. We know that our sort of emotional state can really impact on our food choices, and our sort of desire to be physically active. So there's content about emotional eating, content about mindful eating, setbacks, as I mentioned earlier. That's inevitably going to happen at some point in the 12 weeks. So what matters is, how do we respond to those setbacks? They are going to happen. So sort of being mentally prepared that at some point that your weight might have gone up one week. One thing to sort of bear in mind in regards to that is that I've been working in weight management for 6-7 years, and I can't remember a single person that lost weight every single week on a 12-week program, despite people doing really, really well. So don't put too much stock into what the scales tell you just on a week by week basis. If it's sort of heading in the wrong direction 3 or 4 weeks in a row, then that's a sign that something needs to be addressed. But if it's just gone up 1 week, don't worry too much about that. It could just be hydration levels, so don't get too excited if it's gone down, and don't get too demotivated if it's gone up. We want a sort of a broader view of these things. Bit about the science, a bit about sleep. Sleep's really important. It's often an underappreciated aspect of weight management. There's lots of evidence that shows that when we don't get enough sleep the following day, our hunger hormones are sort of a little bit out of whack. So our hunger, it's called ghrelin, our hunger hormone is higher, and you can measure it in the blood. We're quite literally hungrier if we've had a poor night's sleep, and our satiety hormone, leptin, is lower. So we literally need to eat more food before we feel full. So that's obviously not going to help us if we're trying to sort of manage our weight. So sleep is often an underappreciated aspect of a healthy lifestyle, particularly in the context of weight management. So I won't go on too much more about this, but there's loads of good content in here. And over here, we've got articles. These are the 5 pillars that the program is sort of all the content is founded on. There's obviously loads about nutrition. There's loads about movement, bits about alcohol reduction, mental well-being, and sleep. There's hundreds of articles on here. They're all sort of written in a manner that should be quite easily accessible. But they're all sort of evidence-based, so they should be accessible but useful. And you can sort of search by what pillar you want to sort of investigate. There is loads and loads of recipes on here as well. And that brings me that one looks good, doesn't it? Raspberry ice cream.
It does.
Haven't seen that one before.
Looking
at Bengali prawn curry as well. I'm getting hungry. So that brings me nicely onto our other resource, which is let me just stop sharing screen and I will drag it up. Mel, if there's any questions that are in the chat that you want to respond to.
I've answered one as we've gone along, and it was just checking the finish of the course because we've moved it back a week. So we're finishing on the 14th of October. So yeah, just to confirm that is right for everybody. Yeah. Okay,
perfect. Right, so I'll share my screen again. So this is a resource that is really really useful. This is our Eating with Gloji PDF. It's an interactive PDF. So what that means is, my screen's loading pretty slowly, so that's a bit frustrating. But in the contents, if you want to just jump to a page rather than scrolling and trying to find, page 45, if you want this poached eggs recipe, you can just click on it and it will jump you straight to page 45. So that's quite useful. But there's 100 recipes on here. They're sort of marked as vegetarian or gluten-free. There's vegan ones as well if they've got this VG marking on them. But loads of the recipes, if you are vegetarian or vegan, you can adapt them to make them vegetarian or vegan if they're not already. And likewise for gluten-free, we can swap ingredients that contain gluten if you're sort of sensitive to gluten. But loads of good recipes on here. But what I wanted to show you, or sort of draw attention to, is that the first sort of quarter of the content of this PDF is really useful nutritional information. So have a good read of this. There is stuff about a balanced diet, what that looks like. There is benefits of losing 5% of your body weight. So that's something that that's a reasonable sort of goal to have in mind over a period of 12 weeks. That's what we want to try and aim for. If you can do that, you've done brilliantly well. Usually for most people that equates to losing sort of 1 or 2 pounds per week on average. Just so you've got a rough idea. But as I say, don't worry too much about what the weekly numbers are. We sort of care a little bit more what the monthly trend is really. But benefits of losing 5% of your body weight. lower your risk of type 2 diabetes, reduce pressure on your joints. You could even lower your risk of certain cancers, lower blood pressure, lower cholesterol, lower risk of heart disease, improved sleep, boost to your energy levels. So loads of really positive benefits of losing what, yeah, it's not a giant amount of weight. So that's quite encouraging. Ways to tweak the recipes to suit you. This is information about a balanced diet. So, what is a portion of fruits and vegetables? What we want to sort of base our carbohydrates on, proteins and fats, alcohol. There's I'll leave it. I won't go through it all because there's loads of content in here and we don't have the time. But the point I'm trying to make is that there's information on here with regards to portion sizes, nutritional labeling, loads of good content on here, which gives you a really good sort of understanding as to how to go to the supermarket and buy the sorts of ingredients to create your own recipes that will sort of last you for the rest of your life and give you a really good, strong, solid foundation so that you can have a healthy diet that you can benefit from forever, and not just you, potentially your family, your children. So it has a bit of a ripple effect. So that's a really, really good resource. And then the last thing to just quickly touch on, which this little bar's getting in my way. I can't change my. There we go. Oh, I've got to stop sharing in order to click it. How frustrating. Here we go. I'll share again. So this is the Gloji gym. So what this is, I'll just click log in. You'll have access to this too. This is it's essentially for like home workouts. So, there's, in order to be active, we don't need to go and spend, 30, 40 quid a month at a gym. You can do workouts at home in your bedroom, in your lounge. And this is a really good resource to sort of help and encourage you to do that. So there's lots of live classes if you want to join someone live. A point to make about this. So they're usually sort of 20, 30-minute videos. But the camera will be on and the microphone will be on for the instructor, but yours won't be. So it's not a two-way thing. There's no one sort of be able to see into your bedroom while you're working out. It'll just be you be able to watch them. And in the vault is loads and loads of videos that you can click on, find what sort of works for you. You can filter by instructor if there's a particular instructor that you like their sort of delivery style. You can also filter by intensity of the workout. So if you're sort of, getting back into exercise, you haven't done it for quite a while, maybe stick to the lower intensity. If you're more physically active, maybe the moderate or high intensity stuff would be more appropriate for you. But there's things like, there's yoga, strength and balance. There's sort of low impact circuits, which would be a bit of a mixture between resistance and cardio exercise. Loads of stuff on there. So do have a dig into that. We've had lots of good feedback about this, and it's a really useful resource, particularly if you're sort of working from home and you're stuck indoors, and it's, especially throughout the winter. We've got this lovely, nice weather at the moment, but it doesn't last that long. So throughout the winter, something like this is a really good option to keep us active in those cold and dark nights. Perfect. Right. I'll just bring up the presentation, and we're nearly done. And then we'll go over to some questions. So, was there any questions in the chat, Mel? I can't see it while I'm doing that.
Yeah, we had a question, and I think this is going to be really valid for a few people actually. So we had the question to say, is it going to be a problem if they're not able to attend one of the sessions? It's absolutely not going to be a problem. We know it's holiday season. We know life sometimes gets in the way of all of our best made plans and everything else. If you can't make a session, really don't worry. You'll get to know Claire. You'll be able to contact Claire and just tell her that you're not coming, or if you know in advance, let her know the week before, just so that she knows what she's doing and whether we need to bring someone across to cover in your place. But please don't worry, just come back and attend as soon as you're available to. So yeah, just keep up together with the program as much as you can. You can still do all the digital element and everything else, but yeah, just come along as often as you can.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Perfect. The last thing to just mention is that there is a Gloji Facebook community group. If you want sort of additional motivation, additional support, that's a good place for anyone who is on our Gloji digital program, which includes any of these sort of these netball programs as well. Just go onto Facebook and search Gloji group, and then you can request to join the group. It is a private group, so it's not something that anyone can join with. It does need to be just Gloji members, but you can request to join that, and that's a nice little additional resource for that extra support. And you can keep access to that, and you can keep access to the Gloji digital program beyond the 12 weeks. So it's not like you'll lose your account on week 12. You can keep it. I can't promise it will be indefinitely, but at least for a year, you'll have access to all of those resources that I've just shown you. Right, I think that is it. That is it in terms of what I wanted to run through today. So if anyone has any questions they haven't already asked, then please do fire away in the chat, and we'll do our best to answer them.
Chat.
Is there anything else that you wanted to add, Mel?
Just to say, it's going to be a really good session. It's going to be a really fun session. Our netball coach, we're ever so fortunate. She's used to running lots of netball programs. She's got a lot of good information to share with you. I'm really looking forward to. I'm down in Southampton, so I'm really looking forward to coming over to the Isle of Wight on Monday to come and see you all. So I think you're going to enjoy it. You'll get to know each other. Don't be nervous. I know it's awful starting something new, but please don't be nervous. We're all in the same boat. That's a really good question. We've got a question come up, says, where is the sports hall at Ryde? I'll be honest with you, I've not been there. So our coach Claire is literally around the corner, so she knows where it is. I'm hoping that it is really signposted very, very clearly. I'm going to get them ahead of yourselves. So I'll have a look. If there is any confusion, if it looks a little bit confusing, you'll find me at the entrance, ready to meet you. Okay, so don't worry. I think it's literally going to be that area only that's open, so I don't think it's a case of we'll be wandering around. Another question, is it Ryde School? It is, yes. So we moved from Ryde Academy over to Ryde School. So it's definitely at Ryde School, which I understand is not very far away.
Yeah, I think I think Mel and I have sent you an email in the past week or so, which both of those, I believe, has the address for Ryde School in there. So yeah, definitely at the school rather than the academy now. Doesn't look like there's any more typing going on.
No, it's all looking very quiet.
I guess we can.
We've got some. Yes, Queen's Road. I recognise that name. Yes, Queen's Road.
That's the one.
Thank you, Lorna. Yeah. So I look forward to seeing you all there. But yeah, have a look on as soon as you can get onto your the digital platform. Have a look through that first video. And I will answer, if you've got any issues, if you're struggling at all, I'll be there. So nothing to panic about. Question with regards to parking. I understand there is limited parking on site. So there is parking on the road going outside, I believe, as well, we've been told. I don't know if there's anybody else using the school at the time. So we're going to find out on Monday and see what's going on. It's going to be turn up and tell, I'm afraid, but give yourself plenty of time just in case you need to park on the road outside.
Right, brilliant. All right, I think we'll leave it there. Thank you for joining us, everyone. I really appreciate it, and I hope that this has been useful, and I hope you're sort of excited to go and gonna check your inbox straight away and see if you've got all those emails to get signed up to the Gloji, get your account up and running. If you have any issues with regards to setting up your Gloji account, you can always email me, which I think you should all have an email from me, so you should know my email address. But our support email is support@gloji.co.uk. So I'm just going to stick that in the chat now. And that will take you through to our support team, and they get these sorts of queries very frequently, so they won't, people having issues signing up. sometimes, as I say, often the emails, the solution is that it's not in your inbox because it's been moved straight to your junk folder automatically. So do check the junk folder if you can't find the emails, but they should all be there waiting for you. Yes, it will be recorded. It has been recorded, so we'll send out the recording for those that couldn't make it today. Perfect. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely evening. And I won't be there on Monday, but I hope you have a brilliant session. Mel will be there, so she'll tell me all about it. And yeah,
I'm very
sure it'll be great
excited.
fun. Brilliant.
See you
All
all
right.
on
Thank you.
Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.